Hello, my name's Tom Crandall from Gear Mashers, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Tacx Neo, and we're going to take a deeper dive into maintenance. I've already done one maintenance video, but this one's going to be removing the dish here, this silver dish. And so you're going to need a special tool from Tacx, and this will allow you to remove it. So I'm going to try it. Never tried it before. So you also need some other tools. And so the first tool here I have is a Park tool. And so this allows me to remove the lock ring. Also have a cassette pliers. And so these hold on to the cassette to be able to take it off. I have some gloves because you will get a little bit dirty. Also have a ratchet set. And so you're going to need a 5/16 ratchet in order to use this big bolt here. And so the bolt's going to go, essentially it's going to go into this, and this will allow me to pull this disc off, and so we can take a look at it. And so the other thing we're going to need is we're going to need a 5mm Allen wrench or hex key, and I think that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera closer in so you can see what I'm doing, and hopefully you won't have to do this. Tacx says that like maintenance on the trainer usually is 6 months to a year when you would actually be going in there and sort of cleaning it up. But if you're using the trainer a lot, you may want to clean up your cassette, take it off, do a sort of a wash on it, and then put it back on and grease up the axle. That's pretty easy to do. The dish is a little bit more involved, so we're going to try to tackle that if we can. Okay, so now we're at the Neo, and so what we're going to do first is we're going to remove the skewer here. So I'm just going to unscrew that real quick. It's usually the first thing you want to do, so I'm just going to put that to the side. The next thing is we're going to remove the lock ring, and so to remove the lock ring, we have my lock ring tool here and also my pliers. So I'm just going to hold on to the cassette with the cassette pliers and undo that. And let's see here. Yeah, it's going to come off here real quick. So I'm just going to unscrew that. So here's the lock ring that I just took off. So I'm not going to use the cassette pliers or the lock ring tool here anymore for a little bit. So next, I have this little plastic thing that holds the cassette on. So I might be able to slide this thing right off and onto this. Maybe not. Yeah, it works. Something fell. Okay. So it might make it easier when I try to put it back on. And this is the spacer. I have a 10-speed cassette, so I needed a spacer on here. And so that's what that is for. Okay, so the next thing, we have to remove this bolt here. And so you need a 5mm. So I'm just going to use this guy. And remove that. Okay, so the next part is you should be able to just pull this right off. And so this is the hub. And then there's this little tube on here as well. So just pull that out. So I got the tube. So the only thing we have to do next is we have to remove all these bolts here, screws. And for that job we need 4mm. So I'm just going to go around and unscrew these. And the last one. Okay, so now we're going to use the tool that Tacx provided. And so what this will allow us to do is pull this thing off. And essentially what you're going to do is you screw this in, it presses against this, and it forces this thing to come out. And so what you do first, you got to back it out a little bit. And then they provided some screws. So you just line it up with 3 of the holes. They provided 3 of them, just so that it's on there. And we'll put in one more. Might even just be able to hand tighten these on. I don't know if it really matters if they're screwed in too tight. And then I have a ratchet wrench. And so this is a 5/16, I think. So all I'm going to have to do is just start going in with it. It's a lot easier than if you were to use an adjustable wrench. Now I got to hold on to this. And so what's happening is, it's hard to tell, but this is getting pushed out a little bit. And eventually it will come out all the way. Now it's almost all the way out. I can't pull it out yet. Okay, now it feels pretty loose, so I might be able to pull it off. Let's see here. Not yet. Okay. And it comes right off. And this is what it looks like. So I got magnets all around here. There's spacers in between each magnet to hold the magnets in place. And then I have this big bearing here that rotates around. And then these are all coils that the magnets, I guess, go around to charge. And it looks really clean. I don't see any issues here. So this is what you would do is if the trainer was making a lot of noise or some weird noise, maybe something broke loose in here. I have seen where magnets have cracked and broken loose. So that could be an issue. But other than that, I think we're good. And I don't see anything that I need to clean. So the next part is I would just reverse the process. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this thing back on. Make sure I line it up right. Feels like it went in. And I could probably just manually unscrew this. Let's see. Well, we'll use a ratchet. Just back out. I can already see it going back in. Alright, so it looks like, so now I can just unscrew these. And expose that. So it's just working backwards now. So I'm going to be putting this back on. But remember, you have to put this little hoop on there first. So put that on, slide it. This thing's been greased up already. I did it about 2 weeks ago. So it should be fine. And then here, there's these little notches. And so you just got to press them in when you put this in place. So you can just sort of press them in and it should slide in like it did. And then the next thing is just putting these bolts back on. Or screws rather. And for the most part you can hand tighten them until you get near the end and then tighten them down. All right, so now it's putting this back on, and that essentially holds this part. So in this case, I'm using my the 5mm. Okay, spins good. And now we're going to put the spacer on. So I just slide that in. And my cassette, I'm going to try to match it up. So what I'm looking for is a small ridge here. And there's a small ridge on the cassette, and if I do it right, it should just slide right on. All right, so here it is. Maybe. All right, so I guess I'm gonna have to hand put this on. This is where you get dirty, and I don't feel like putting on the gloves right now. And so I do have some spacers, but as you can see, it's pretty easy. You just slide them on, looking for that small little ridge line. Got my spacer. Let's see how many more here. I've got 2 more to go, I think, 2 or 3. And the last one. Of course, the last one's the hardest. All right, so the cassette's on. So the next thing is to put on the lock ring. And that's good to go. Clean my hands up a bit. You can see this is the kind of dirt you get sometimes when you do a little maintenance. And so I'm just going to grab the cassette with my pliers, and we're just going to, you can hear that sort of clicking noise. It means it's getting tight. I think that's good. No movement. Sounds good. So that's pretty much it as far as doing sort of a deep dive maintenance and checking out, making sure everything's good on the inside of the silver disc here, and then removing your cassette. The last thing we're going to do is just put on the skewer. So I just put that on. And remember, the lever for the skewer is going to go opposite wherever your cassette is. And there's a little spring here, and so the small spring goes in and the big screen's on the outside. And we're good to go. So that's a deep dive into the Tacx Neo and doing a full maintenance, even though I didn't really do any lubing, but you can see how you could if you needed to. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Oh, By the way, check out our website, gearmasters.com, and definitely like and comment on the videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll be having more videos like this in the future. Thanks so much.